Good day everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this Watch Our Worms video, I am going to show you the way that I completed stage 12 of the Cultist Faction Trial and kind of give you an idea of what you can do if you have the roster that is necessary to meet the conditions. Okay, so before I play the clip here of the battle as it carried out, pretty much when it comes to stage 10, 11, and 12, you can use the same strat. I'm just showing you 12 because that's the last one that you're going to need to complete for this particular stage. But you're going to have to meet a special condition, and that is that you're going to have to deploy 3 fighters. And at least in the public server right now, there are only 3 fighters in this faction, so you're gonna have to bring your Cyrene. I built mine, so I did bring her up to 60. I mean, once you start getting to the end game, you're gonna start to have to 60 heroes that you don't think that you're going to need, but there are some certain situations like this one where you are going to need them. So as you can see that she's one of them, Atrax is the second one, and the Cerberus is the third one. And then aside from that, it's pretty much mages. You're bringing in mages to complete this stage. So let me just go ahead and play the clip, and I'm just kind of gonna go through as to how I set up the battle. So let me fast forward a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to do is I'm gonna bring Captain Reeve as my tank to hold things up. If in case you do not have Captain Reeve, you might be able to use Cyrene. Just make sure that you tank her up a little bit and you give her the Bloodthirst. I can't remember what to rename it, but I can show you the build at the end where she gets an additional block. You could possibly use her in this position here as long as you have enough damage DPS surrounding her to tackle these ads coming in, these minions coming in. And remember, these minions, when you kill them, they'll split into 5, so you got to bring them down as soon as possible. And so I'm going to show you how I cover that to make sure that nothing, if something did get slipped by, that there was some coverage, at least in that regard. In this tile here, I'm putting Iona. Iona has excellent AoE damage, so she is the perfect candidate for being placed here in this tile up here. So you'll see that. So you can kind of see here 2 or 3 were trying to slip by. So for my case, I put in a mage here just to give Iona a little bit more help and have a little bit more coverage in this area to make sure that nothing did slip by. And if something did, at least Morrigan can carry, can just eliminate it if at all possible. And if you don't have Morrigan, you can use one of your other mages here. If you have a Lasir, or you have who's slipping my mind right now? Eon, you can bring Eon in to help you with damage. We all have greed, so you can use greed there as well. So that's going to be perfect. So as you can see here at the top, I'm pretty much not going to allow these ads to get past me because they just become too dangerous. They deal too much damage if they convert to those spear throwing minions, and yeah, it's hard to cover them after that. So I'm gonna make sure that I keep them in front here, and so I used Atrax and Cyrene up here to deal with that. You saw me put here Vierna. So Vierna is going to be the one that's going to take down the big ass tanks that are coming down from these portals. So up here, I'm just using Solace to deal with these waves. And so once they are out of the damage area, that's when I brought in Lasir just to give her a little bit more coverage and just eliminate him. I just did not want him to target Iona, so that's why I brought Lasir in here. So for now, that'll do. Atrax does get killed, but I'm bringing in Cerberus to remain to cover him while he is getting ready to respawn. And now at this point, I have I have deployed 3 fighters, so I met that condition. So now all I have to do is make sure that nobody gets to the core. Okay. So there again, I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can here. You can see that with Vienna, I was able to cover the bottom fairly well. And then Lasir is going to finish them off with his ultimate. So at this point, I'm going to recall Celis and I'm going to recall Lasir, since there's nothing else that is going to come out from these portals. So I just need now coverage up here, give them the fighters a little bit more help. And now essentially what I'm worrying about here is these fellows here, because these guys, once I kill them, they're going to split up, and we got to bring them down as soon as I can. So for me, Iona did a great job covering this area here, and you can see that as soon as something even tries to slip by Captain Reeve, that Morrigan is there ready to cover for him in case he needs the help. Now here is the thing, now with Bierna, I was able to bring the first 6 down. Now I have 2 left. That's where I'm going to use Aatrox to start dealing some damage there, so he can start doing some of his AoE damage once he's killed, which is perfect. And now you can see I do have 1 remaining. Now I'm going to place Celis here on the tile and Lasir. They're just backups. I know Bierna can bring them, but they're just backups in case something does go awry. It does not. And that's how I completed this particular stage here. And as you can see, the major damage dealers were going to be Vienna and Iona. Yes. So let me just show you the builds as I was using them. Cerevis, I put him in an Inferno set just because he has basic attack damage here. You could use an H-less set if you have a good one, but I just wanted to give him some stats just so he could bring things down. So I just transferred the set over, fairly simple to do, and he could do the damage that I needed him to do. Let me see, the other fighter is of course Aatrox. There you go. I have the 1 good H-less Wrath set, so he got that one because he was going to help me not only on top but down below. And you can see the attack and the critical damage that he got with that set. Let me see here. And then Siren. So Siren, I knew that she could do a little bit of damage, but at the same time I wanted to make sure that she did not get killed and she could sustain the battle a little bit. So I gave her Abomination set. That's why you see the high HP, but there is some decent attack and some crit rate and crit damage, so she could at least do some damage in that regard. And one of the artifacts that I gave her to was now what is called the Lunacy Visor, so she could get an additional block, and then she could get some at least lifesteal from attacking the minions that were coming at her. If you're wondering about what I have on Aatrox, is Eye of the Sin, and Cerebus, Eye of the Sin as well. So that's what those are. That's the setup for that. When it comes to Vienna, I do have the tier. It used to be Starlight, but now it's Tear of Twilight on her. And let me see here. I do have the Soul Bound Arcana set on her, and her stats are almost 17,000 attack, a little bit more crit rate than she needs, and 301 crit damage. Speed, you don't have to worry about too much speed with her, so you can, if you don't, at least at this time, I do not have Warlord set on her, but I gave her the Annihilating Might for now. Morrigan, broken set, but she has the stats, 12,000 and 381 crit damage, 113, and then crit rate 220 attack speed. So that's kind of the general build that you're looking for. I just wanted to make sure that she could help Captain Reeve in case anything slipped by. Celis, very the mid-game type gear with the curse set here. So attack and crit damage. So that's pretty much most of the setups when it comes to the mages that I try to build them in that way. 16,000 attack, 97% crit rate, 241 crit damage, and a little bit of attack speed. And so that's what he has. And of course, then he has his exclusive, which is now the Graveyard Opus. Lasir, he has an Heaven's Rage artifact. And again, I gave him the Fracture set that I had with the Annihilating Might. And 101 crit rate with 277 crit damage, some attack speed on him, and almost 14,000 attack on his build. So I just needed to make sure that he did good enough damage so we could finish the stage. And Iona, I have her on a wisdom set, which she uses her ultimate. Her damage increases for 10 seconds. Again, give 11.5 attack. Gave her some attack speed, so 251, 89 crit damage, 246.5 critical damage. So not insane builds to try to tackle that. And leftover artifact, so the Tome of Horror is what I gave her in this practice here. And who else did we bring in? Greed. Greed has the unfortunate skull, which used to be desecration, I think, but it's just to give him a little bit more in the AoE damage. He has the stick set on him. Not a whole lot of attack, only 12.5 on him with 73% crit rate and 274 crit damage. So essentially, you can get away with completing this the faction trial with mid-game sets. You don't need insane builds on them. The only thing is you just need to have the heroes and to collect them and make sure that you can have the roster that you need to complete that particular stage. So I hope that guide kind of helped you out to try to tackle this content when you are ready to do it. If you did appreciate the content of the video, please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time on the next Watch Our Realms video.
Their souls are mine to take.